What the hell did we just watch? Okay, so a couple of people suggested I do episode reviews for the last 2 episodes of this season. I don't even know where to start. I mean, this probably won't make any sense because I'm so something. I don't even know. Okay, let's just start. If you haven't seen this episode yet, don't watch this review. I'm spoiling everything. And also a spoiler warning for all other show and book materials as well, just to be safe. Okay, let's start off with Dany's story. So, Dany appeared back in Meereen, all prettied up again, and with her city under attack. I definitely felt bad for Tyrion because I think he did a pretty good job of keeping Meereen afloat in Dany's absence, but I think the attack on Meereen was inevitable either way. But I'm so happy that Dany was willing to accept this and continue taking Tyrion's advice. We saw a bit of hardcore Targaryen come out in Dany when she wanted to, when she was talking about destroying the other cities and everyone in them. Tyrion definitely helped straighten that out. I like how she flirts with madness every now and then. I mean, she's definitely a Targaryen, that's for sure, but to those people that think that she's going to become mad like her father, I really don't think that's the case. I mean, she's just young, and she's trying to figure out how to be a ruler. She's a Targaryen, and the Targaryen words are fire and blood, and I get that some extreme action will probably have to be taken on her part if she wants to get anywhere, especially since she's at the disadvantage of being a woman in a patriarchal society, and she's clearly getting control of her dragon, so that was awesome. And Tyrion and Grey Worm were pretty much fantastic. I mean, I think she's got a great team going for her right now, and I think that they're definitely going to help her get where she needs to be. I also loved seeing the Dothraki come in to kill some harpies, and I'm glad that she was smart enough to keep some ships from the Slavers' fleet to bring herself and her army to Westeros. When Theon and Yara showed up to offer Dany their ships, this was just a really cool scene. I love how George R.R. Martin writes strong female characters, and in this scene it's not only Dany meeting and respecting a strong, like-minded woman with similar father issues, but also her reconnecting to Westeros and her people, and showing us how she's still a competent ruler. Like, she still has sense in her. She really does genuinely seem to want to make the world a better place. And yes, she's made mistakes so far, but we've seen that she wants to learn. She's willing to listen and take advice and follow through on her promises. And I mean, in the book, she's only 16, and she hasn't really had much guidance, at the beginning at least, on how to be a ruler. And she's never been to Westeros, so she doesn't really understand how all these things work. So she's just trying to figure it out. I'm really expecting great things to come out of this alliance. I hope Euron gets the crap beaten out of him at this point, because his story isn't over yet. If they go with the book plot, spoilers, then I'm guessing he will probably pull out the dragon horn at some point, which will complicate that plot a bit, so I'm interested to see what will happen there. I'm also interested to see how Yara expects to be queen of the Iron Islands when the Iron Islanders don't want to be ruled by women, and probably won't want to give up their way of life, raping, pillaging, and reaving the coastlines of Westeros, so let's see how that goes. Alright, now for Bastard Bull. So, Sansa didn't really have anything solid to offer in terms of war counsel to Jon, but she was right that Ramsay would try to lure Jon into doing something stupid. I think that it would have been a great time to tell Jon that she wanted to wait for Lord Baelish's forces. I guess she didn't feel like that was worth saying, but okay. I guess that would have ruined the surprise at the end of the battle, so I'll give the writers this one. I like that they added the bit where Davos finds the stag that he carved for Shireen. It just shows the more human side of him and made it even more sad before the battle started, because I think we pretty much all felt like this was doomed from the start. I don't think anyone expected a happy ending to come out of this battle. I'd like to see how he confronts Melisandre about this next episode, but I think he already suspected that she had something to do with the death of Shireen. And alright, I'm not gonna lie, I totally expected a public execution of Rickon, and obviously so did Sansa, and she knew Rickon was gone before this battle even started. And I wouldn't expect anything less from Ramsay than a game of cat and mouse, letting Rickon run for his life and get shot like steps away from Jon, who rode out to save him. This was so heartbreaking, even though I knew it was going to happen. I mean, at the beginning of the series, Jon isn't too connected to the other Starks. He definitely feels like an outsider, so it's a nice change to see him really trying to connect with Sansa and taking a protective role over the remaining Starks. He's really grown up and come a long way. can we also talk about that awesome soundtrack? Especially when Ramsay drags Rickon out of the crowd, there's like this really haunting music that's happening, and it's awesome. Go back and listen to it. It's great. So obviously, Jon's army ditched their plans to get the Boltons to charge them, and they walk into a bloodbath. Way to go, Jon. When Ramsay's forces surrounded Jon's, I honestly just expected another Red Wedding scenario where nothing good comes out of it. I mean, you can hope and dream for all these different things to happen, but at some point you just give up on it. I mean, we've been tricked before by these guys, these writers, George R. Martin, the show writers. They just like to break our hearts, and at that point, I just expected that everyone was just gonna die. But I'm happy that didn't happen. I actually cried as Jon was being trampled and Tormund was being head bashed by Umber. Tormund, in my opinion, is just the best thing that ever happened to Jon and the show. He's loyal, fierce, brave, honest. He fought in the thick of the fight, and when he was trying to get through those Bolton shields, I mean, even his own men pulled him back to protect him. I mean, he really inspired loyalty in his men, and everyone just really respects him. He never even gave up, even though the battle seemed to be completely lost. I honestly thought the Northern Conspiracy would play through. I thought the Umbers would turn sides during the fight, but that didn't happen. I also half expected to see the Manderleys, but that didn't happen either. I'm glad they at least gave us the Arryns, and that Winterfell was retrieved. When that war horn sounded, I was so happy. Although I felt some pretty crappy emotions and cried like a baby, and I only kept watching for some misplaced hope to pull through, which luckily the Arryns came. But I mean, I even half expected the Arryns to fight for the Boltons at that point. But this whole sequence was shot and put together so well. I thought 1-1 would also pull through after the fight, but I mean, obviously Ramsay ruins everything. I'm glad Jon beat the crap out of him with his bare hands, and I'm also happy that Sansa got to finish him. And what better way to end a beast than have him devoured by his own hounds? Now he knows what it feels like. It was also an interesting tidbit that Sansa said his dogs were loyal until he starved them. I guess this can be translated into ruling men as well. I mean, if you rule them unjustly, they'll turn on you. And I think this just shows that Sansa will be a good ruler. I think she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she's starting to understand everybody. And she's not that naive little girl anymore. She's all grown up. I'm curious now if Sansa will be able to be the Lady of Winterfell. If Dany ends up taking control of Westeros, she will be giving Yara control of the Iron Islands. Maybe she'll change the laws of succession for the noble houses as well. Now is the question of what does Baelish want in return for helping her get Winterfell. It must be something pretty big since he's just committed treason against the Lannisters. But I guess he's not too scared seeing as Cersei and Tommen are on a slippery slope to their downfall and Tywin's dead. I guess the most obvious guess is that he wants to marry Sansa and become Warden of the North and her lord husband. But I wonder if she'll do this, or if she'll imprison him, or little Lord Arryn is still in the picture, so Baelish would have to see that he dies soon if he wants to be Lord of the Eyrie and the North. I know Baelish wants power, but I don't know for what purpose or how much he needs to get to feel that he's in a good place to just settle down. I mean, no one trusts him anymore. Like I said, I half expected the Arryns to fight for the Boltons when they showed up. So I'm interested to see where that plot goes. The last major thing I want to discuss is Rickon's burial. Jon wants to bury him in the crypts alongside his father. I think this is going somewhere. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on right now. There are a lot of theories going around regarding what's in the crypts at Winterfell, and there's been a lot of foreshadowing in the books that there's something down there, and everyone's trying to get down there for some reason or another. A lot of people who believe in the R+L J theory believe there's something down there for Jon that will show him who his true parents are. I plan to make a video about this week, but basically he's got a lot of dreams in the books that lead him into the crypts, and since Lyanna is buried down there, she might have something related to Rhaegar, such as his harp or a letter, or something will happen down there to reveal to Jon who he really is. I mean, if it's not going to be Bran, this is the time. It's just a theory, but I think something big's going to happen down there for Jon. May Rickon rest in peace, the poor boy. So that's basically it for this episode. I'm not entirely sure what to expect in the finale, except definitely some fighting against the High Sparrow. I'm also going to post a video later today about the Cersei Wildfire theory. I think that if she burns down the Sept and Jon Snow finds something in the crypts, I think that'll make a fantastic finale with loads of cliffhangers, keeping us all waiting until next April. But I guess anything could happen at this point. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Please write in the comments. We can talk about it. I am just still in shock about this episode. But I guess it had a good ending. It did. It had a good ending. So if you're interested in my Cersei Wildfire theory or my Crypts of Winterfell theory, please check back later this week for both of those videos. I'm also going to be doing some Ice Dragon and Jaqen H'ghar theories within the next few weeks. A lot of people have been asking me what I think about Varys being the leader of the Harpies, so I'm going to address that too. So thanks guys for watching. We'll see what happens next week.